All right. So I'm Matt Dionis, a software engineer at Radius, where I focus on agentic AI. And before I dive in here, I just want to talk a bit about my background, because somehow what I've done over the last decade has kind of all come together in what we're building and is related to this quote. So I spent about half the last decade at Circle leading the internal tools team, learning a ton about legal and compliance and regulatory issues around crypto rails. I spent about 2.5 years after that at Auth0 doing OAuth work and trying to make OAuth both secure and user-friendly, which the user-friendly, developer-friendly can often be kind of tough. I briefly hopped into the NFT ecosystem and built some token gating solutions there. Then I got a chance to spend about 18 months with Sean Neville, back with the Circle folks at Catena Labs, building generative AI. And in January, I joined Radius. And the main reason I joined Radius is because of their super high throughput, low latency, super low transaction fees. I feel like these are table stakes for what we're trying to build, both with NANDA and outside of NANDA, just for this AI agent economy. So warning, I'm going to double down on economic incentives to both bootstrap and secure these networks. And let me define EVM Auth really quick. So I can't take credit for this. My colleague at Radius, Sean Scoville, built this out. It stands for EVM, Ethereum Virtual Machine Auth, both Auth-N and Auth-C. Think about I'm sure you've all heard of X402, H402, all these 402 protocols. EVM Auth is like that plus a little. So what I want to talk about here, and this is a grand vision for where we could get, is this EVM Auth flywheel, self-reinforcing growth. I see two major problems in fully autonomous generative AI that could be deployed to production systems right now. One is context engineering. Prompt engineering was a hot term for a year or two. Now folks are talking about context engineering. The fact of the matter is you could have GPT-5, which feels close to AGI, without accurate, proprietary, up-to-date, even real-time data being fed in. Like, it's a garbage in, garbage out problem. And I'm sure a lot of you have found web search can kind of get the job done maybe half the time, but I don't think you'd want to ship to production like a financial AI agent that is managing your money based on Google web searches. So this, again, I talked earlier about how we need to have good developer experience. And I am super focused on MCP servers. Instead of trying to build this quilt and be everything for everyone, I personally think we should focus on where are the builders right now. And the Model Context Protocol is really where they are. This is actually an SDK we're going to release open source this week from Radius. And this is how easy it's going to make MCP server monetization. So actually, I sold us a little short here. If we default this chain ID and this RPC URL to our Radius testnet, all you actually need is a contract address. You basically deploy an auth smart contract on Radius, and what you get is this EVM auth.protect method down here. That's the only line you need to write, and that number one simply represents a token, an ERC 1155 token in the Web3 world. And what this allows any MCP server builder to do is to begin monetizing their content, their tools, their prompts, their resources in as little as one line of code. I'm not trying to give anybody a headache. This is a high-level architectural view. We're going to release this later this week to the EVM Auth MCP server, but what this is covering is basically all of the cruft that we abstract away in order to get to this level. And the idea is that starting this week, Claude Web, Claude Code, Windsurf, Cursor, anything that supports MCP server OAuth, you can immediately plug into this system and basically access data through micropayments. And I think this is important for the Quilt because micropayments is just the beginning. This isn't a proof of payment system. This is a proof of token ownership system. So you could think going through DID, digital identity flows, going through compliance checks, any due diligence check you can think. If your agents can go through that and securely be granted a token that sits in their wallet, that could unlock access to premium and more secure and sensitive resources. So that's really where I'm at. And for anybody that wants to talk about this more, Quilt is the right term because every project that's come up so far, I've been thinking about how we could actually integrate with them. So it would be nice to collaborate. Find me later if you want to chat further about this. Thank you.